वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकास स्वामिने। Today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 13, Text 55. Brahma stealing the boys and calves, the chapter entitled. So please repeat after me. Evam Sakrit Dadharsha Ajaha Parabrahma Atmanah Akilan Yasya Bhasa Sarvam Idam Vibhati Sa Chara Acharam Evang Sakrid Dadarshaja Dadarshaja Evang Sakrid Dadarshaja Parabrahmatmano Kilan Yasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati Sacharacharam Evang Sakriddha Darshaja Parabrahmatmano Kilan Yasya Bhasa Sarvamidam. It's not Bhasha, it's Bhasa. Bhasa. Yasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati Sacharacharam Evang Sakriddha Darshaja Parabrahmatmano Kilan Yasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati Sacharacharam. Mataji's. Evam thus Sakrit at one time Dadarsha saw Ajaha Lord Brahma Parabrahma of the Supreme Absolute Truth Atmanah expansions Akilan all the calves and boys etc. Yasya, of whom, Bhasa, by the manifestation, Sarvam, all, Idam, this, Vibhati, is manifested, Sa, Chara, Acharam, whatever is moving and non-moving. Translation unpurported by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder and Acharya of ISKCON. Translation: thus Lord Brahma saw the Supreme Brahman, by whose energy this entire universe, with its moving and non-moving living beings, is manifested. He also saw at the same time all the calves and boys as the Lord's expansions. Purport. By this incident, Lord Brahma was able to see how Krishna maintains the entire universe in different ways. It is because Krishna manifests everything that everything is visible. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in yesterday's verse, Satya Jnana Ananta Ananda Matraika Rasamurtayaha Asprishta Bhuri Mahatmya Abhi Upanishad Drisham. It's a very important verse. Shukadeva Goswami is actually pointing out that the Lord who manifested himself as the cowherd boys and then the cows is a real personality, person with full consciousness. It's not any Maic form. So that's the fundamental premise which Shukadeva Goswami, further all the previous acharyas and Srila Prabhupada in his purport is very much elaborating on this point. Because the Brahman, the Parabrahman, the Upanishads, the Vedanta Sutras, they point out to be, it appears like it is impersonal, but specifically in this verse and so many verses in the Bhagavatam and other Upanishads. Yesterday we heard the class, amazing points were presented. Right from the Upanishads, we are seeing that so much explanations are given how the Lord is a person. He has personal features. There are varieties. There is variegatedness. It's not that it's just an illusory form. This is the most important point that was communicated in yesterday's verse. And further, in today's verse, Brahma is again acknowledging, or to put the point, Shukadeva Goswami is pointing out that who is that Supreme Brahman and what are his qualities. Further, his qualities are explained. In today's verse, explained that Parabrahmatmano Akilan, by whose energy the entire universe is manifested. The entire universe, not only the entire universe, the moving and the non-moving creatures, everyone, the manifestation actually is because of him. And then further, he elaborates that we are able to see, Brahma is able to see, he was given the mercy by the Supreme Lord, and because of the mercy, he was allowed to see Krishna, his expansions, his four-handed form of Vishnu, everything the Lord allowed him to see. And we saw in the previous weeks how Brahma was trying to figure out what is happening, what is the who is this, who is there in the cave, who was that he has hidden in the cave, who are these personalities here. So much he was trying to do permutations and combinations and working out probabilities, trying to figure out what's happening. And he was trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. He could not figure out. But ultimately, the Lord is very merciful and he revealed, he could clarify the confusion and the doubts that Brahma had, and he said, okay, I will reveal it. So the most significant point in yesterday's verse and in today's verse also, which we can point out that ultimately, unless the Lord reveals himself, it is not possible for us to comprehend, or even for that matter, we cannot see things in proper perspective also. That's one very important point. And let's a little bit look into yesterday's verse also, because there is a connection here. So again, the same point is being made. The Lord is not, his form or his energies are all real. Because why it is being stressed so much? Because there are so many scholars, so many people who interpret the Vedas. They try to present the Supreme Brahman as some Maic form, or is an illusory form. So these words very much negates that idea, or it establishes the supremacy of the Lord with full consciousness, and he is the reality, Satya, and he is full of knowledge, and he is unlimited. And this is being contrasted, that his form is not limited to certain time, like our form or our body changes by the influence of time. His body does not change by the influence of time. So he is Ananta, he is unlimited, and he is Ananda, he is full of bliss. Now this point, after Shukadeva Goswami explaining that, so he is clarifying another doubt, that so is that Supreme Brahman, is that what Brahma is seeing? Then why not the Upanishads and the Vedanta Sutras are not revealing that? So many people are studying that. So he says that asprashta bhuri mahatmya, asprashta, it cannot be touched even by the Upanishads. Upanishad drisham, by reading the Upanishads, which actually reveals the Lord, still it will not be revealed. So then we can see how Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain that the jnanis, although they are studying the Upanishads, they cannot understand this. They cannot see the personal form of the Lord. It's a very significant point. And we can see our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, again and again they are defeating these points, because it has got such a deep-rooted impression in the conditioned souls. So that's one point. So that's why Srila Prabhupada concludes the previous purport with the glorification of the Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Srimad Bhagavatam reveals the personal form of the Lord. And that's why it's the essence that everyone should give oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam. And by reading yesterday it was explained that by regularly giving oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord personally reveals himself to the sincere seeker. So that's one point. Now further qualities are explained. Couple of qualities are explained in today's verse. One is that Lord Brahma, he could see how the Lord is actually, by showing himself that it is me. First the Lord, he appeared, and then he was looking for the calves and the gopas. So Brahma had hidden them. So he said, okay, no, doesn't matter. By his desire, he expanded himself into so many calves and then the gopas. And then in that way, the Lord is showing not only that that's how the entire universe is manifested. So he's saying that evam sakrit dadarshaja. So at one particular same simultaneously he could see. So how he could see, what was the qualification he had, what was the qualification that Brahma had? Yesterday also this point was touched upon. So was it by some chance he saw, or by some accident? This is also discussed by some of our previous acharyas. It is not just by some accident or by chance that Brahma could see that. It was not in some hallucination, or it was not some dream. It is reality. And that reality was made possible by the mercy of the Lord. This is the whole key point here. Yasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati sacharacharam. So all the moving and the non-moving entities Brahma could see. And sarvam, all the manifested universes he could see. And we could see in the prayers, in the upcoming prayers in the next chapter, in one of the prayers, Brahma is sharing this realization. We will get into that verse. But before that, we could see here, in the second part of the verse, here the acharyas are specifically, I just saw the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami. He's pointing out that, so what is the qualification he had? what qualification Brahma had. Yes, we can see there are so many lessons that we can learn from this pastime. One is that Brahma, who is such a, what to say, he is very highly knowledgeable, one of the great living entities in this entire creation, even he could not comprehend him. So the point that is revealed is, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Lord or to gain his vision by one's intelligence, however supreme it may be. So you can't, with your brain power and with your intelligence, you can't get hold of the Lord, or you can't accommodate the Lord. It's not possible. So the point yesterday in the purport, Prabhupada is very much is pointing out that Pashyanti Atmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. So it is possible only when the Lord reveals himself. So why we are again and again repeating this point? This point, to get into our dull heads, it's very difficult. We many times, because whatever abilities we have, whatever activities that we perform, or whatever talents we have, many times we get bewildered that, oh, I can do this, I can do that. If we are really conscious, we can understand that it is all possible simply by the mercy of the Lord. Simply by the mercy of the Lord, which is flowing through his pure devotees. If we can keep ourselves reminding about this, we will stay cool-headed. Otherwise, we will be washed away, finished. Because Maya is so powerful, it can eat us. So now the point here is that, so this bhakti point is very much being stressed. So much Srila Prabhupada has stressed in yesterday's purport. And in today's purport, it's a continuation again of the two qualities. Now you can see again another point. Srila Prabhupada just uses only the two lines are there, but it's very deep. The meaning is very deep. He says that by this incident, Lord Brahma was able to see how Krishna maintains the entire universe in different ways. So this is again a point that so many scientists, so many philosophers, they are trying to put things together. But everything the Lord has put everything together, everything is manifested. So it's not that they can rebuild the universe, or they can structure it according to their own. We have to accept the plan of the Lord. We have to accept that he is in full control. He is maintaining everything. That needs to be accepted. So that's one point. Now in the second part of the purport, Prabhupada says that he also saw at the same time all the calves and boys as the Lord's expansions. He also saw. So that means that this visibility, here it is. It is because Krishna manifests everything that everything is visible. This is what we wanted to discuss. Please look at this point. He says, Krishna manifests everything, that everything is visible. So unless the Lord manifests, now how in practical sense we can relate? Now when it becomes dark, when it completely becomes dark, what can we see with our mundane eyes? Nothing we can see. So many times Prabhupada had conversations and debates with his own disciples and with scientists and with so-called philosophers, with so many people. What can you see with your tiny brain? What can you see with even with your own eyes? We can't see anything. So for us to see, the sun has to manifest. Then we can see things. With our limited sensory perception, we can see some things to some extent, right? So that's the whole point. So here, Srila Prabhupada just makes this one point and says that he also saw at the same time all the calves and boys as the Lord's expansion. So in one of the prayers in the next chapter, which could be discussed in a very elaborate way, but it very much relates to today's verse, wherein Brahma acknowledges that. He says that, I'll just read the Sanskrit and maybe just to save time, I'll just read the translation. He says, have you not shown me today that both you yourself and everything within this creation are manifestations of your inconceivable potency? You see, immediately Brahma is acknowledging that it is all because of your inconceivable potency you are manifesting, and you yourself have manifested into everything. Eko Bahushyam is also we have heard. The Lord, he was alone and then he expands himself into everything. First you appeared alone and then you manifested yourself as all of Vrindavana's calves and cowherd boys, your friends. Then Brahma says, next you appeared as an equal number of 400 Vishnu forms. Now just to clarify for Brahma, hey, it is actually the Supreme Person. It's not that I myself has personally expanded. You can see. Now we saw in those verses where Brahma was confused and then he suddenly he showed the bluish form. We saw in one of the verse that just to clarify that Brahma, be clear, it is me, nothing else. Don't get confused. So that was the point. Then he says, that that 400 Vishnu form was worshipped by all the great personalities, by all living beings, including me. I was also. He was seeing that he was also worshipping in all the universes. And after that, you appeared as an equal number of complete universes. So in today's verse, that's what he's saying. Thus Lord Brahma saw the Supreme Brahman, by whose energy the entire universe with its moving and non-moving living beings is manifested. That's what Shukadeva Goswami is pointing out. And in today's verse, and in this prayer, he's saying that, yes, you are that. Finally, you have now returned to your unlimited form as a supreme absolute truth, one without a second. Again, this is clarifying the clear philosophical understanding of the Supreme Brahman. So Supreme Brahman alone is not the ultimate truth. That vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. So that Bhagavan, he has a personal feature and he expands by his energy, by his light. The universes are created. When we were hearing the Brahma Samhita prayers, we saw how the Brahman, from the Brahman, all the creations that happened. So we heard that. And also behind that Brahman, Brahmanohi Pratishtaham. So who is the foundation of that Brahman? That is the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that is being established. Now, as we saw here, that what was the qualifications, as we discussed just at the beginning of the class, that Srila Sanatana Goswami is pointing out that Brahma had some qualification, and because of that qualification only, the Lord revealed himself to Brahma. And through Brahma, the Lord is teaching us lessons. And also we cannot at the same time undermine Brahma's position also. There are two-fold lessons we can learn. One is that, as we said, that Brahma, although being in a very, very high position, he could not understand himself by his own intellectual power. So that's one thing. And also, as pointed out in yesterday's verse, Asprishta Bhuri Mahatmya Apyupanishad Drisham. Even if somebody is well versed in the Upanishads, but if the methodology with which he has approached the Upanishads, having the impersonal aspect, and just by jnana, if one thinks that I will try to understand what is absolute truth, I will try to understand, the Lord does not reveal. This amazing point yesterday was discussed was that chit potency has to flow. That's what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Prabhupada points out. Unless the Lord reveals himself through his chit shakti, he reveals himself to his devotees. That how the chit shakti is invoked by the mercy of his pure devotee. So here, another aspect that we can try to understand is that Brahma, he did have a qualification. You can see who is Brahma. Brahma was a guru of so many people. So yesterday those points were discussed. How he went along with the Upanishads, he went and then gave instructions to Priyavrata. So many places Brahma went and then he reminded. But then Brahma was also the guru of so many. The four Kumaras, he was the spiritual master. And there are many instances in which Brahma had that qualification. But then we can also understand that Brahma was, even that person, such a person of a higher caliber, was bewildered. That's again, it's inconceivable for us. But then with one point we can understand that the Lord simultaneously wants to teach some lessons. That's one thing. And so Brahma had that qualification. So now again this point we can discuss that. So one needs to have the qualification to understand this spiritual subject matter about the Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. And also again, now I will do great hard work. By my personal endeavor, I will try to capture the subject matter. This attitude is also very dangerous. It's not possible. So one has to approach in a very humble attitude, with a service attitude, and then we completely depend on the Lord and his pure devotee. It's up to them to reveal. This is the attitude of a devotee. If he wants, he will reveal. There's no demand from us. But we always beg. We always cry in front of the Lord. We beg in front of the Lord about our position, and we expect the mercy to flow from the Lord. So this one other incident from the Puranas. It reveals that we can't capture the subject matter or of the Lord and his devotees. And in fact, the Vedas also, when the Vedas says that Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto, when the Brahma Samhita says that, it means that. Now, when Ravana once he wanted to understand the meaning of the word Om. Okay, so Narada Muni was traveling, so he stopped Narada Muni, and then he said that you have to reveal me the meaning of Om. So Narada Muni said that no, you are not the patra, or you are not the receptacle of that. You don't have the sufficient qualification. I can't do that. Then so what do you expect? Then a demon, what will be the demon's attitude? So he said, I am the Ishwaroham, I am the supreme enjoyer, I will control everything. Now you have to succumb to my power. Now you have to answer my question. So what he did, he had a special sword that he got from Lord Shiva called Chandrahasa. He took the Chandrahasa sword and he wanted to, he was against, see, this sword will speak. I'll cut you. He was thinking, I'll cut you, you please explain to me. He said, Narada Muni said, no, you do whatever you want to do. So Narada Muni is going to all the planetary systems, wherever he wants, he is roaming. He has that power, he has a spiritual body. So really Ravana wanted to cut him. So he just took the sword and then he was trying to cut him. But the sword went through him, nothing happened. He was just wondering what's going on. And Ravana was stunned. So what's going on? How is it that you could? So then, he went on to explain. Even he was saying that verse is there, in that Prahlad's prayers. What is that? To Hiranyakashipu. Even by, nice verse, where he says that even by someone giving you advice, even by everybody, thank you very much. Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova Mitobi Vidyeda Grihavratanam Adanta Gopir Vishatam Tamishram Punas Charvita Charvananam. It is not possible. One who is just engaged in the same business of chewing the chewed, simply one who has engaged in sense gratification, even somebody is coming giving advice, even if you are philosophically, intellectually, you try to read and try to understand, it is not possible to understand these subject matters. So Ravana could not understand the meaning of Om because he was completely in the sensual platform. He was a demon. So as long as we are going to have demoniac attitude, it is not possible for us to understand this subject matter. We can't appreciate this subject matter. So that is why the whole process of the whole bona fide process is given. So that's why in yesterday's purport, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out this very significant point that Pashyantyatmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. It is only possible by, not by any sentiment, only possible by loving sentiments. One can approach the Lord. The Lord will be revealed. He will himself reveal to his devotee. So that's why this chanting of the holy names is so powerful. And it's absolutely, the Lord is an autocrat. It's up to him. He wants, he will reveal himself. But as a practitioner, with this attitude, when we approach and when we engage, and also, Lord is not such a tough person. We again and again, when we study the Bhagavatam, when we study about the glories of his names, he's also very, very compassionate. He reveals himself to those who sincerely seek him. But the only thing is should not have this kalmasha. Kalmasha means this crookedness we should not have. We may be weak, we may be very unsteady, we may be overflowing with material desires. But if we don't have the crookedness and if we just accept whatever is our insignificant position, and then we take to this process with sincerity, try hard, work hard, and depend on the Lord. Shakti buddhi hino amiyati hino. In that attitude, if we just go on engaging in service, the Lord reveals. Also the other day we heard, who was that? Someone was explaining in the class that the Lord, in fact, He comes and gives us support. He's like a general in our fight against Maya. And He helps us. And I think one of the Rukmini's prayers, she points out that this is how you are so merciful, my dear Lord. Saulabhyam, we can see in so many Vishnu Sahasranama names. Then His Holiness Bhaktivikas Swami Maharaj, when he was pointing out several commentaries of different acharyas who point out all the time he points out one quality, that we quoting Parashara Bhattar's commentary, that Saulabhyam means the Lord is very easily accessible. He gives himself to his devotees. See, that is one of his qualities. And also his Bhakta Vatsalyam, how he is very much dear to his devotees. So he reveals himself to his devotees. So this is the beauty of the Lord. So the Lord on one hand is very, very compassionate, very, very, very much he wants to give himself. At the same time, Nahang Prakasha Sarvasya. It's very inconceivable. So it's not so inconceivable in the sense that this shows that if we are simple, we are very simple-minded, and we are ready to accept the authority system created by the Lord under the guidance of his pure devotees, then the bhakti becomes very, very pleasurable, very happily it can be performed. But then when we try to put our mind and intelligence and try to complicate things, it becomes very difficult. So that's why all these subject matters and all this practice should be done in the association of devotees. Those devotees who are realized, who have followed the path, and who are sincerely practicing. And when we are in the association of such devotees, then the path becomes easy. Alone, very difficult. Very difficult. And further, our mind, our own crazy mind will drive us in different directions. And we may think, it might appear some things may be logical, and maybe, but who knows? We are very limited. At the same time, it's not something blind also, isn't it? It's not something blind we can do. We need to try to understand the scriptures with reason, and whatever it's being revealed to us according to our purification, things will be revealed. And we have to just continuously keep appreciating the Lord, his potencies, his devotees, and the whole process. And we should try to help others. This is the whole point. Ultimately, whatever little realization we have, we should try to share it with others. So and we can see when we are now, many devotees are having so many realizations. When we specifically go out and meet people, so many people, they do not know anything. And some of them are ready to do service, some of them are ready to do help. Yesterday we were going to the railway station. Gokul was explaining that so we should put our temple. In the railway station they have so many different advertisements, right? So many new gadgets, the Samsung phones and latest gadgets. Everything is being advertised. So Gokul was explaining that we were just in Coimbatore recently, and then we saw in the railway station this one so-called institution. So big advertisements about everywhere, all the directions. The advertisements are, what are they preaching about? Nothing about Krishna, nothing about Krishna's various attributes, nothing about Krishna's wonderful qualities. People are misdirected. People have no understanding, all with this impersonal understanding, some power, some consciousness. All these things are being promoted, but more and more Krishna's holy name, Krishna's form. So he was suggesting that our temples, the beautiful Radha Gokulananda, this has to be promoted. People should know. People should know that yes, we have the topmost philosophy, we have the topmost process, and everybody can take to this process of bhakti. Holy name can save one from any condition of life, and it can really give happiness to people. People who are suffering in this world, they all have an easy process to chant his names. The Lord is so much, he is giving himself through his holy names. So that's the power and potency. And Brahma here is realizing the beautiful aspects of the Lord, and we can see how Srila Prabhupada in his purports is outpouring. And also this is also an aspect of the pure devotee, that wherever there is a chance, immediately we can see in the purports, consistently we can see from the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, whenever there is an idea of impersonalism being promoted, immediately the acharyas take an opportunity and defeat it, left, right and center. Because why? Because it is very deep rooted. This impersonalism is so deep rooted, and that has to be defeated. So these bhakti points of Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Brahma is, is speaking that, right? The Brahma Samhita. That's the only way by which he can be approached. Only way by which we can get that right. So that's the point. And then we can see in the upcoming prayers in the next chapter, which we discussed before, we will discuss again, and we will be discussing it again and again. Because we need to hear it again and again, that Brahma is acknowledging, oh my dear Lord, as far as I am concerned, it's inconceivable to understand about your potencies, about your power, about your mercy. It's inconceivable. I simply bow down to you. That's the whole thing. And then we can see in the discussions between Uddhava and Vidura, how Uddhava, when he was trying to explain about the Lord's, even moment he is remembering about the Lord, just by remembering about his name, or remembering about his beautiful features, what happens? He gets into great ecstasy. He gets stunned. He's not able to speak for some time. That is how the pure devotees are. Pure devotees are so much absorbed in the name, form, and the glories. So similarly, by regularly hearing about them, hearing about their glories, and also practically seeing in the lives of pure devotees. For us, we are very fortunate. If not for Srila Prabhupada, we cannot appreciate this whole process of bhakti. Prabhupada practically showed it, right? When he was traveling in the Jaladuta, recently there was incorporation of ISKCON, a few 1 or 2 weeks back, how much hard struggles he underwent. He took the Bhagavatam with him. He defeated this impersonalism. He went to the place. He's just the pranam mantra. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He was right in front. He met so many kinds of people who had all these impersonalistic ideas, Buddhist ideas. So many people he met, and then he was boldly presenting the personal aspect of the Lord. Because this is what actually gives life, right? This is everything. So many people will always speak this vague philosophy. But Prabhupada very clearly explained, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are His eternal servants. And bhakti is a practical process. Bhakti means devotional service. So, unless these things were very clearly revealed to us, we would have also been in great confusion. Complete confusion. All vague things. So, we are fortunate, we are indebted, and we also have to go out and distribute the books, give the holy name, and constantly keep preaching. Also, the influence of the 3 modes is very powerful. Who can escape that? We will be in the ashram, we are practicing. The modes are very powerful. So, we need to take protection from other devotees. We need to help each other. When someone is in difficulty, we need to help him. When we are in difficulty, others will help. So, bhakti is a very personal process, and it really helps. The other day, we also had a discussion, right? So, what is that? If you just think about it, it's great. We have been given a place to stay. We have been given whatever that we need to, we need to sustain ourselves. It's provided, and very nice prasadam is provided for us. Good association of devotees are there, and we need to do our job. We need to chant, we need to hear, and then it becomes very relishable. We just discuss with devotees, and then we will see we are sheltered. There is no need to take any other shelter outside, and we need to create that atmosphere. We ourselves, it starts with us, with every individual. Instead of just pointing fingers on others, individually we should try to be, and then we try to take association of such like-minded devotees. And as same sutra is given by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada in the Upadeshamrita, then the bhakti becomes more enlivening, and then we will be overflowing with realization. We will be happy, and then when people come, when we are giving this transcendental knowledge, and when people see that we are happy, they will also like to follow this process. So we'll stop here, and we will continue, because we have a lot of services for Janmashtami, and then we need to be focused, and then we have a great mission to share this knowledge with others. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.